A new faraway region is getting its Pokemon League off the ground, and you've been selected as champion and CEO to get things up and running. The Elite Four's been sorted out, but you can't have a true Pokemon League without gym leaders. You need to hire 8 of them. However, there aren't any strong trainers from this region. There's no Pokemon League yet. You're trying to set one up to attract strong trainers to the region and motivate the existing population to get into Pokemon battling. It's an economic investment. But this does mean you need to hire trainers from elsewhere, and you can't hire existing gym leaders. In my previous video, I built my perfect Elite Four partially from existing Elite Four members, but I pulled that off by giving them raises, and thus blowing the hiring budget. So the gym leaders are gonna get paid the same, and it's gonna be hard to convince people to move to a faraway land for no extra money. Maybe even less, depending on the currency conversion rates. So essentially, no current gym leaders. So if you can't hire existing gym leaders, nor Elite Four members or Frontier Brains, since they definitely won't take a pay cut, who do you pick for your 8 new gym leaders? Let me know your picks in the comments, but in this video, I'm gonna be figuring out my own picks. One significant group to select from would be the rivals. Or I suppose since I am a faraway champion / CEO and don't actually know these people, the trainers who got 8 badges or are friends with those who did. There is precedence for these trainers taking gym leader positions, with Blue, Charon, Marnie, and Bede all doing so. Let's take a look at the others and figure out which ones would be the best candidates. Important disclaimer, most of these characters are children, and while gym leaders can be children, I'm not dealing with all the red tape of relocating a minor to another country for a job. No thank you. However, it has been many years since most of these trainers started out, so they gotta be adults by now, right? Like, we're fine. Silver is a criminal. He steals his starter from Elm's lab, and he steals a Sneasel from Kirk in Cianwood City. Now, he did do these things as a child. We do see him grow a lot as a person, so like, maybe this is something he's gotten over and I could forgive him. I'm not gonna eliminate him, but like, I don't love it. Brendan and May are a bit confusing, since technically one became champion and the other didn't, but which one is which depends on who you are. Oh, I'm getting a multiversal headache. Wally though, Wally is straightforward. He's got a great origin story, starting out sickly and meek, then growing strong enough to reach the victory road, and then even compete at the battle tree alongside other very talented trainers. It would capture the heart of potential trainers, showing that no matter how humble your beginnings, you could reach the highest heights. And he doesn't have a type specialty already, but considering his fondness for the Ralts line, I feel like he's a good candidate for a psychic type gym leader. Barry is also a capable and impressive trainer. He's, a lot, but it's good to have a variety of personalities on a team. His aspirations to live up to his father, Palmer the Frontier Brain, could serve as motivation for him to take his own official position. He also does not have a type specialty, but normal would probably fit best thanks to his Staraptor and Snorlax. Charon is already a gym leader as discussed, but his friend Bianca is a potential hire. Unfortunately, I don't really think she'd be a good candidate. In the 2 years between the events of Black and White versus Black 2 and White 2, she opted for a research assistant position with Professor Juniper. This is a perfectly reasonable career choice, but it demonstrates a lack of interest in battle-focused positions. She was a very talented trainer in the events of Black and White, but she chose to step away. To me, it seems like she would rebuff any of my recruitment attempts. Hugh is a solid candidate. He's clearly a talented trainer, and by the time I'd recruit him, his mission of reuniting Team Plasma's stolen Pokemon with their original trainers would likely have wrapped up. He'd be seeking a new righteous cause, and what could be more righteous than enriching a nation's economy? Ha-ha! It is I, Guarantee Boy, and have you finished your Christmas shopping? Not yet, but I've got plenty of time. You think you have time? Well, you don't, because I have it. You see, you get it? It's my new watch from Holzkern, the sponsor of today's video. Oh, okay. Whew, you kind of freaked me out there. Good, you need to finish your Christmas shopping, and Holzkern is the perfect place to get gifts for your loved ones. Holzkern is a watch and jewelry brand for both men and women, and all their products are made from natural materials. For example, my watch is the Askia, and it's made of walnut wood and marble. Ooh, that's quite lovely. I want to get the exact same one. I don't want you to copy me, but
Weirdly, we do look good in similar accessories. Holzkern products are made in small quantities, allowing them to reach a high standard of quality that lets their products last a very long time. So go get some Holzkern products for your partner, your family, or, even me. Products usually arrive in 2 to 5 business days, so orders placed by December 19th will make it in time for Christmas. Check it out using the link in the description below. For a limited time, use code MandJTV at checkout for 15% off purchases site-wide.
Awesome, thanks, man. This makes it a lot easier. Soon everyone in my life will have time.
Time for what?
You can't be serious.
Are you having a stroke? I hope not, because I have to go. Ta-da!
Caleb and Serena are another Brendan May situation, and oh, my head. The multiverse! The other notable Kalos rivals, friends of talented trainers. Don't make the cut though, since none of the trio of Shauna, Tierno, or Trevor ever use more than 3 Pokemon. Put simply, this doesn't look good on a resume for a battle prowess related position. Yes, gym leaders have used less than 3 Pokemon before, but that's because they are restricted to doing that based on the number of badges that the challenger has. It's not due to a lack of talent, and these 3, I worry about their talent. How is a strong candidate? Maybe too strong. How is a final boss level trainer, which may be simply too good? Although he technically never becomes champion, he loses to the player in the final battle for the champion spot. And additionally, there is another rival to beat the Elite Four and become a gym leader, that being Blue. But he's kind of an exception gym leader. He'll only fight trainers who have at least 15 badges. It's kind of confusing about whether or not Hao should be allowed to be a gym leader, but honestly, I think his best long-term position is Kahuna of Melee Island after his grandfather Hala. It's clear his connection to his home is very strong, and I'd feel a bit conflicted about taking him from that familial duty. Gladian's another story though. He's got some serious family issues that he might just want to take a break from. Yes, he did work for Team Skull for a brief period, but he was a child, and unlike other members, he never appears to have committed any serious crimes like conquering an entire town. He would likely be a dark specialist due to usage of Zoroark, Weavile, and Umbreon in different places, and it's always nice to get more dark type gym leaders. Not sure I could let him use Silvally though, that might be too strong, technically a legendary Pokemon. I mean, maybe if he's the last gym leader and oh wait, actually, this could work. It's a good marketing technique. We have a gym leader with a legendary Pokemon, and we just don't tell them that it's one of the lamer ones. This could actually be perfect. Trace was a champion, which might be disqualifying, but so was Blue, and he became a gym leader. But then wait, what happened with Trace and Blue, and where's Red and all this? Oh, no, the headache? The headache is back! Hop chooses to focus on becoming a Pokemon professor, so despite his clear talent, he has chosen a career path that is not focused on battling. Plus, his legendary Pokemon is actually super overpowered. I feel like he beats Leon if the player is not involved. Although maybe Hop never gets the legendary if the player's not involved. Regardless, he wants to be a professor. He's not gonna take the job. As mentioned, Marnie and Beat already have gym leader positions, so they are tied up, but Clara and Avery are a different story. Both of them are aspiring gym leaders, and in fact become gym leaders officially by the end of the events of the Crown Tundra. However, they're gym leaders in Galar's minor league, which does not count as existing gym leaders, it's the minors. And for them to move up to the majors, that would require both them excelling and an existing gym leader falling off. But do I want them? They're kind of annoying. And they cheated at one point in that battle against the player. But again, they were children, they've grown up some, maybe they'd be fine. And then we reach the Paldea rivals and things get tricky. Although I will say it's easy to eliminate Nimona. She is way too strong. She is a champion ranked trainer. I cannot afford her. However, other rivals like Arvin and Penny are children. And as I said, I cannot have that. Now, as I mentioned with the other children characters so far, I've accounted for the fact that they started their journeys a while ago. They've grown up by now. But the events of these games happened very recently. I feel like they actually might just still be children. And I'm not hiring children. To be safe and not have an international incident on my hands, I will not be considering any characters who are students during the events of the Paldea games. With one notable exception, Drayton. Drayton is a member of the Brazilian Blueberry League Elite Four at Blueberry Academy. He was the league's champion at one point, but because it's just an intra-school league, that doesn't really count. He's also the grandson of Drayden, another gym leader, and thus battling is in his blood. And he is different from other student characters because while he's listed as a second year, he's had to repeat the same year 3 times. If Blueberry Academy works like an American school, which it likely does, I mean, it's in Unova, Unova's based on America, then him being a second year or a sophomore would make him 15 or 16. And if he's repeated the same year 3 times, that would make him actually 17 or 18, which means by the end of the school year, he'll be a full-fledged adult, which means I could hire him. But this does cause other problems. First off, the fact that he had to repeat years is proof of his laziness, which is not a stellar character trait for any job, but especially not one that's like, we're trying to get this league off the ground. The second problem is that at the end of the school year, he would still only be done with his second year. And again, if it's an American-based school, that means he's got 2 to go, which means I'd be hiring him before he finished high school. And like, I'd feel kind of weird about that. Like, hey, come work for me, but drop out of high school. Like, could wait 2 years, but I don't want to do that. Drayton clearly has the talent, but there's quite a few off the field issues. For the next category of trainer to evaluate, we're going to Alola specifically, those being the trial captains. While a kahuna position is essentially permanent and very tied to their home islands, trial captains are very different. They are explicitly teenagers and actually have to retire when they turn 20. And since Sun and Moon came out 8 years ago, Jesus, we can safely assume all of them have reached age 20, have graduated from their trial captain position, and are looking for employment. Let's take a look. Ilima is a straight A graduate of the trainer school and exceptionally skilled. He's clearly hardworking and responsible, traits that I appreciate in any employee. However, the most Pokemon he ever uses is 3, which is an odd limitation on himself. Is he intentionally holding back? Or does he lack the skill? Lana is in a similar boat. No pun intended. She's a water trainer boat, you get it. She's clearly responsible and capable and a doting older sister, but she also never uses more than 3 Pokemon. But Kiawe is a different story. Unlike the other 2, he competes in the battle tree. And while that caps teams to 4 in double battles mode, he uses 5 different species of Pokemon, 6 if you count the 2 Marowak forms separately. The battle tree is no joke, so he's clearly very talented. Additionally, a side quest in the Alola game sees him getting fired from his part-time job at the Mega Mart, which, to be clear, I'm not holding against him. He was a kid swamped with responsibilities, all of them more important than working part-time at a Walmart, and I'm hiring gym leaders, not cashiers, okay? But after the battle, he says, my dream is to become a professional fire dancer. I've been saving up forever to go study dance abroad. Kiawe is a talented battler, deeply connected to his culture, who wants to travel to learn about other cultures. This is perfect. He could come to my region, be paid well to be the fire type gym leader, and then in his off time, spread the wonders of his culture to my region while learning our own dance techniques. It's perfect. He wouldn't even have to save up. I'd pay him to do it. Kiawe is the strongest candidate so far. Mallow has similar battle capabilities as Kiawe. Like him, she normally only uses 3 Pokemon, yet uses 6 different kinds in the battle tree. She has the battling chops for sure, and as a cook, she could come to my region and enrich our local cuisine. However, unlike Kiawe, her long-term aspirations appear to be closer to home. At one point, she tells the player, I've got my future all planned out. I mean, we have to move on from being captains when we turn 20 anyway. It may be ordinary, but I'm hoping to take over my family's restaurant. I think I could be an even better chef than my dad and big brother one day. So I would love to have her, but I'm not sure she'd want to come. Maybe she could do like a work study thing and like be gym leader and learn techniques from our region for like a while, but then I worried like she would just leave after a couple years, and like I'm trying to set us up for the long term. Sophocles is an excellent candidate. While he does not compete in the battle tree, he does participate in title defense battles with a team of 5 Pokemon, meaning he's absolutely strong enough to be a gym leader. He's also a technological genius. Despite his young age at the time, Mullane trusts Sophocles to run the observatory, and Sophocles' inventions, while sometimes flawed, are still extremely impressive. He created Festival Plaza, which might be points against him, actually. But hey, like, he's grown up. Like, he could have learned from the errors of that, and he could help expand the technological infrastructure of my region with what he's learned from Festival Plaza. Acerola is an Elite Four member. Somehow, feels like she skipped several promotional steps. Like, I don't know if there's like some nepotism at play here. Maybe with like Nanu as her uncle, but like, I can't hire her. She's an Elite Four member. Mina is an interesting one. She has the battling skill, using a team of 5 high-level Pokemon at one point, but then it's a bit muddy about whether she's responsible enough for the job. In one universe, headache. She never ends up designing a trial that she is supposed to. But then in another, her trial connects the trial goer to all the other captains, indicating one of her skills being working in teams. And like, that's a super special and unique thing to have on a resume. Like, nobody ever has that. She's seen in Kanto as well, indicating an interest in travel, but she's also there for so long because she missed the boat back home. A worrisome lack of punctuality. Her paintings could enrich the arts scene of my region, though. I'll think about it. Next are some characters that are quite compelling because they're already gym trainers, just not like totally officially. The first is Koichi or Kiyo. Let me explain. The fighting dojo in Saffron City competed with Sabrina's gym for who got to be the official gym in the city. Sabrina's type advantage let her win handily, so the fighting dojo was relegated to just a training facility. It offered a challenge to players, but it could not hand out badges. The leader of the dojo in the Kanto games is Karate Master Koichi, and he uses Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan in all the games but Let's Go, where he has just a Poliwrath. But then 3 years later in the Johto games, Koichi is gone. The fighting dojo is struggling, only having 1 student left, and the new leader, the Karate King, Kiyo, is training in Mount Mortar, and he also uses Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan. Sometime later, one of them, but it's unclear which one, has opened up a new fighting dojo in Lumio City, in a small apartment, and he only gets new students if he lies and says it's a dance studio. Ooh, yikes. Not going well for these fighting dojo leaders. I also don't love how few Pokemon they use. But they do have experience running a gym-like facility, and who knows, maybe if Sabrina was a rock or ice type specialist instead of a psychic type specialist, then the fighting dojo would be the Saffron City gym. Maybe their expertise in running a kind of facility that just didn't get funding because it wasn't official, like, maybe they could build the fighting dojo of their dreams once they actually have the funding. And then there's another unofficial gym in the Alola region, the Cantonian Gym. It's really just a tourist attraction where you pay an entrance fee to challenge and fight a gym leader who has 1 measly Machoke or Machamp. But sometimes present in it is Ryuki, a dragon specialist rock star, seemingly with some amount of notoriety already, who not only battles you there, but fights in title defense battles. He's a very talented trainer, and crucially he says, once Alola gets a real Pokemon gym, I give you my word I'll become the dragon type leader. He's got interest, talent, and maybe fame? Like, how many Instagram followers does he have? Like, I could bring a lot of attention to my league. And now for the final set of candidates, those who don't fit into any of the other categories I just mentioned. Green is a counterpart to Red and Blue in the Let's Go games, and obviously a capable trainer with a full team of 6 high-level Pokemon. She is so weird, though. Like, she wants Mewtwo. She doesn't get Mewtwo, and then she, like, tries to make the player character her Pokemon. Like, literally throws Pokeballs at their head. That's weird. Feel like that could lead to some awkward workplace interactions. Oh man, if she behaves like that towards a challenger, that's definitely gonna be a lawsuit. Yusin interested me at first with his passion for researching legendary Pokemon, but I don't think he's sufficiently demonstrated his battling capabilities. Never having more than 3 Pokemon, all of them just in the level 20s. This next one is kind of a deep cut, but you remember that family in the Hoenn games? The Win Straits? It's a pun. Winning straight. as opposed to winning gay. You fight 4 of them in a row, and after beating them, they brag about the son of the family, Vito, being incredibly skilled. You can actually encounter him later in the victory road, indicating significant skill to get there. Although his shift tree's only attacking moves are pound and nature power, so maybe not. But it's been a while. Maybe he's still a trainer. And maybe he's given his shift tree a stab move. Colress is definitely a skilled trainer, and his scientific genius entices me, but even though he hates Getsus now and was helpful in Alola, he was too deep in with Team Plasma for me to hire him. Like, that's a PR risk. Zinnia is an interesting but kind of an odd option. She absolutely has the talent. She uses Mega Salamence, and she's free. Not like free like money, like she's got free time. After helping the player team up with Mega Rayquaza to destroy the meteor headed for the planet, her grandmother tells her that she needs to find a new purpose, and then Zinnia just kind of vanishes. So like if I could find her, she might be looking for something to do. However, kind of like with Colress, she did work for an evil team. Either Magma or Aqua, depending on the... Oh, no, stop. But that involved intentionally helping them summon the primal Pokemon to thus summon Rayquaza, so again, probably too big of a PR risk. Dexio and Cena are very good candidates. They have a great resume, having worked as assistants to Professor Sycamore, and ineffective, yet well-intentioned masked heroes. They've shown a willingness to travel, reappearing in Alola, and they're definitely skilled battlers. Dexio has a team of 5 at one point and competes in the battle tree, and while Cena doesn't have a team of 5, she also still competes in the battle tree as well. I think they are great candidates. However, if I hire one, I'm gonna have to hire the other because they are definitely a thing. Like they are totally together. They traveled to another region, just the 2 of them together. Like that, they are an item, and I refuse to break up this power couple. Swordward and Shieldbert, no. I cannot do this. They are just so lame. Yes, they learn from their error, their ways. They're skilled battlers. They could be like a duo steel specialist set of gym leaders, but like, my God, I cannot have that hair or their attitude working for me or anywhere near me. Maybe if they got haircuts. But even then, Swordward, Shieldbert, I'd never hear the end of it. And then, while I cannot hire students from Paldea, I can hire teachers. All of them compete in the Academy Ace tournament, demonstrating exceptional skill, but for non-battling reasons, some are better candidates than others. Time is a rock specialist and actually a former gym leader, but according to Bulbapedia, quote, she avoids questions relating to why she quit as a gym leader as they make her fill up with nostalgia and sadness. Oh, damn. Well, guess not. Rhyfort is deeply into history, but seemingly mostly Paldea's. I worried she'd have no interest in the history of my region. I don't know what it is. I haven't made it up yet, which doesn't really bode well for her having an interest in it. Saguaro is the home ec teacher, but there's nothing that stands out about him outside of his battling. Miriam is the school nurse, but wants to be a health instructor, so clearly her aspirations don't align with being a gym leader. Salvatore is the languages teacher, and he seems like a lovely, nice guy, and his focus on interconnecting cultures is appealing. It'd be tough to pick a type focus for him though. I guess electric because he terastallizes his Raichu. Jacques is a renowned researcher and developer, and clearly likes to travel, having gone to Kitakami with the player. His terastallization indicates a psychic specialty, but considering his league clubroom team is half poison type, that might fit him better. He's got a really important position in Paldea though, so I'm not really sure he'd want to leave. But the best teacher candidate is by far Dendra. She is the battle studies teacher, which would make her amazing for growing the Pokemon training scene in my region. She also has a very clear fighting specialty, and she's only 25. Honestly, young people are more enticing hires for this position because they're less likely to be tied down, more willing to move abroad, and if they like the position, they'll be in it for a really long time. And also, as an added bonus, she's hot. Spirited, hot-spirited, like lots of energy, you know, good for like battling motivation and stuff. And the final option is Perrin. She's here because she is just so talented at photography. Could really help market the region with like some good like tourism bureau photos and stuff like that. She doesn't have enough Pokemon, but you know, maybe we could overlook that. for her. But now, after a long and grueling hiring search of conducting interviews, reading resumes and cover letters, conducting second round interviews, not actually reading those resumes and cover letters and just putting them through a faulty automated system that's just looking for keywords, being generally vague about the salary, and ghosting people after the third round interview, I am finally ready to announce my ideal team of 8 new gym leaders. Here they are. First is Kiawe as the fire leader. He's probably my favorite candidate in the entire search, and no one's competing with him for focusing on fire. He's a lock. Next is Dendra as the fighting leader. I might have gone for Koichi or Kyo, but Dendra is flat out more impressive, and she could improve the battling educational space. We need a trainer school. Maybe she's the headmaster. Next is Barry as a normal gym leader. Both him and Hugh are strong candidates and both would be normal leaders, but Barry has shown more interest in battling as a career, whereas Hugh's main goal seemed only to be to return his sister's purloin. A noble pursuit, but Barry's focusing on battling is better for this job. Next are Cena as the ice leader and Dexio as the psychic leader, respectively. They're both extremely qualified. While I do like Wally as a psychic leader too, Dexio is already a true psychic specialist, and with my choice of Cena, I cannot break this adorable couple up. Next is Clara as a poison gym leader. I've decided to give her the benefit of the doubt for her behavior when she was younger, and she's already got like a minor league gym leader position. Like, that's really good. Silver would have also been a poison gym leader, but there's too much criminal baggage there, and as for Clara's counterpart, Avery, Dexio is simply the more impressive candidate. Then I'd have Mina as the fairy gym leader. She travels, cares about team building, and could improve the region's arts. She's a little spacey sometimes, but no one's perfect. And then for the final spot, it's actually kind of tricky. My 2 favorite remaining candidates are Sophocles for electric and Ryuki for dragon. But I have a problem. My Elite Four. Spoilers for that video incoming, so if you haven't seen that yet and want to see how it ends, you should watch it now. In that video, I chose for my Elite Four Mullane with Steel, Iono with Electric, Karen with Dark, and Raihan with Dragon. But if Raihan denies the offer due to wanting to continue competing with Leon and Galar, my backup was Seabold with Water. Both Iono and Raihan overlap their type focuses with Sophocles and Ryuki. Gym Leader Elite Four type overlaps have happened before, but they're always under specific circumstances. First is the Indigo Plateau, which serves 16 gym leaders and thus was guaranteed to overlap. Second, the overlaps happen in regions where the champion has changed, specifically Hoenn and Unova. And then third was in Alola, where characters from earlier in the game are recruited to the Elite Four, although I guess none of them are technically gym leaders. Like Kahunas are kind of gym leaders, but not officially. Now, if Raihan denies my offer and Seabolt comes instead, then Ryuki fills in for Dragon and the roster is set. But Raihan is my first choice, so I have to figure out what I'll do if he accepts my offer. If he does, that means both Sophocles and Ryuki are overlaps. It's a tough situation, but I have a plan. I'm taking Sophocles with contingencies. Which, I'm just realizing, that kind of sounds like his brother. Like, oh, it's Sophocles and contingencies. First, I should clarify, Sophocles is a super strong candidate. His technological genius could advance the region forward in so many ways. And he would also get to reunite with Mullane, his cousin, and we saw in Ultra Sun and Moon how even a temporary separation made Sophocles cry. Option number 1 is just having the electric overlap between Sophocles and Iono. Maybe people are accepting of it and it ends up not being a big deal. But if the public's reaction is negative, we just pivot to giving Sophocles a different type. It can't be Steel since Mullane has that covered, so instead it's Rock. Sophocles uses Alolan Golem a lot, so this way he could keep his ace, then because of his work at the observatory, he could use other magnetic field or space-related rock types like Probopass, Lunatone, or Minior. Iron Thorns fits well too if Paradox Pokemon become more commonplace. He may not be thrilled if this is necessary, but hey, he's gonna get to be closer to his cousin again, so maybe he's not actually gonna care. So this is my final squad of new gym leaders. Let me know yours down in the comments below, and if you wanna see how I came to my decision for my perfect Elite Four, check out this video here.